How's it going, everyone? It's Grizzly with Arctos Gaming, and we're today doing another podcast. Dylan, take it from here.
Alright, today we're going to be talking about more games that we are playing this week. Among them are Retrovirus, Elemental, and Hearthstone, which is what we're going to end on. And obviously, as you can see, we have Leo on again. He was on our second podcast, and we're really excited to have him back on here to talk about video games. And yeah, so I guess I'll start with Retrovirus. So, alright, so I picked up this game in a bundle. Yep, there it is, Retrovirus. It's a 6-axis shooter. So basically what a 6-axis shooter is, it's like you're kind of floating in space, is the best way to describe it.
Space.
Yeah. So it's like you move up, down, left, right, all over the place. There's no real like gravity or anything, I guess. Would be a good way to describe it. It's a really fun game. It has a story to it, and let me see if I can get my camera back working. It stopped working. All right, there we
Oh
go.
my gosh, Dylan, what are you doing?
There we go. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so the story is basically, so far, a worm gets into some guy's computer and you have to go eliminate it because you're an antivirus. So yeah, basically that's the entire story. And basically you see the worm come in through the desktop, which is kind of cool because it's like a screen. So it's kind of like you inside the computer looking out. And the worm comes in and he starts destroying stuff, and so you have to go into like the email client, and you have to eliminate like the infected emails and stuff. It's a really interesting game. They have a lot of like little tiny like bits of humor into it. Like my favorite one so far is the main antivirus program like talks to you throughout the thing, and she says something to the effect of I need to contact the kernel. And obviously, if anyone knows what a kernel is, like technology,
Colonel.
it calls like the actual kernel, and he sounds like, like the military kernel. So yeah, it's a really fun kind of like silly game like that. And there's a lot of little tiny pieces of the game that you can like pick up on, like you can be going around and you find emails, and you could read the emails of the owner of the computer, and kind of look into his personal life, which is very revealing about him. He's into some kind of weird stuff. And then also you can go through and find like spam emails from like a Nigerian prince. Yeah, there's a lot of like,
Nigerian
yeah, there's
prince.
like a lot of little humor like that into it.
That's actually hilarious.
I mean, playability, it plays really well. Like I said, it's a 6-axis shooter. It's a linear game. But it's really fun, and it has this really weird feeling to it though, because everything feels kind of slow. It's really hard to describe like what I mean by this. But sometimes you'll be like being hit, and it won't seem like you're like on the brink of death and you're about to die. If that makes any sense. Like I guess like a good way to describe this is, I don't know, in a shooter like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something. Like if you're like close to death, usually you're being overrun by like a whole bunch of different guys. There's like explosions everywhere, whatever. But this is kind of different. Like if something kind of sneaks up on you and you don't really notice it, you just start dying. And there's like no explosions. There's nothing. It kind of just hurts you. So it has a really weird feeling to it, like that.
Wait,
but,
like how do you die? I don't understand.
all right, so like the worm that like
Is it like a health bar, or is
yeah.
it like the red flashing thing and then you die after?
No,
a couple seconds?
there's a health
Yeah.
bar, but it's regenerative, like regenerative health, like I guess.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, like the worm comes through or whatever, and it like infects the computer, and it infects like these like little like, I don't even know what they are, but they're like little things, and they attack you, and you have to like clean them to make sure they're not attacking you anymore. And then also has like viruses that come and attack you that you have to shoot and kill. but yeah, that's
Can things like sneak up behind you and like just kill you out of nowhere because you don't even
uh
realize, or is it like
I
pretty obvious?
I mean it's pretty obvious because when something hits you, you can see by your health it starts going down and your screen shakes a little bit. But it's
Okay.
really easy to lose track of your health. Um, like if you have two people, like two like viruses sneak up on you, you'll be dead in like 2 seconds unless you really act really fast. So like
Oh,
dying
okay.
really sneaks up on you in that game, which, I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something I noticed about it.
Is the game fast paced?
No, not at all. Actually, it's a pretty
Oh,
slow
really?
paced game. Um, yeah, you're kind of just drifting through like each like little section of the game, kind of slowly, and like you're like eliminating like all the virus throughout the places you're going in. Um, and so a lot of those things that you're shooting aren't actually like able to attack you. They're just like infections on the wall or whatever. So you have to kind of clean those as you go. So yes, it is pretty slow. Um,
Okay.
Okay.
but yeah, do you guys have any questions about it? I can.
So, I don't really understand the gameplay.
Um, hmm.
Is it kind of like you're just like inside the computer, like literally cleaning it off with your like gun or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So you're like an antivirus program, and you have different weapons that you can cycle through, and you just shoot the viruses to eliminate the viruses.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's like Osmosis Jones, but in a computer.
that is actually a really really good way of describing it. Like that actually like really sums it up very well. But yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely like Osmosis Jones, but you're antivirus for a computer. But yeah, that's really what it's like. Um, but yeah, I picked this up in a bundle, and I think the bundle was like $1, so it wasn't that much. It was definitely worth the dollar. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoy it. And I would say if you find this on sale, I don't know if it's on. I assume it's on Steam because I got a Steam key. So if there's ever a time where it's on sale, um, I would definitely recommend it because it's a really really good game, and it
That game
looks.
actually is a ridiculously high price for being an indie game. It's $20.
Is it really
Yeah,
$20?
it's
What?
20
Wow.
bucks full price.
So actually, I actually finally got the video working after not being able to get it working for the longest
It's
time.
so expensive.
Yeah, it is a really expensive game.
The graphics do look amazing though.
Oh, here we go.
Like for being an indie game, the graphics look superb.
Yeah, actually, it's a really good looking game overall. I mean, this is a place where it's kind of further in, but you can see how it kind of goes. This is actually a little bit faster paced than what I was going at. So maybe it's just the point in the game
Okay.
of when it is. But yeah, this is kind of it. Like you can do scans to find enemies a little bit easier. Your scans have special abilities based on the weapon you use. So like the main weapon, whenever you scan after you shoot something, it explodes. Um, like that gun he's using right there is kind of like a chain gun. And so if you scan while you're using it, it'll push things away from it, which you can help solve puzzles with, like
So
very
the so
small
the
puzzles.
so the
Yeah.
game looks like a floaty version of Quake, kind of.
Um, I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looks like that, but it's really not. I can't really describe it as that. But yeah,
Okay.
if you saw right there, that thing that he just sent out was a scan. So he could see what's around him, like what the corruptions were that he needs to eliminate. But
Cool.
yeah, it takes getting used to, because it's a six-axis shooter. So there's no like flat surface. So sometimes you can get turned around really easily in it. Um, but like here, it's not such a big deal because everything's kind of like confined. But when you get to a really big open area, that's like the main trouble I had fighting enemies is it being in such like a zero gravity space like that. You can get turned around and you can get surrounded really easily. So
Cool.
it's something difficult that you have to kind of overcome.
All right.
Like I said, yeah. If it's on sale, because it is $20, so that is really steep for an indie game. Um, and even some of the best indie games I played, I don't know if I would put a $20 price tag on it. But if it's on sale, like during the winter, I know obviously Steam has all those winter sales. If you see it
Mhm.
like 50% off,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be probably 75% off sometime. I would definitely
Yeah.
recommend it, picking it up for like $5. It's or like if you're into
Okay.
bundles, definitely look out for the bundle that this is in again if it's going to be in another bundle.
All right.
Wait. So were controls responsive? Because I feel like that could be something pretty hard to pull
Yeah,
off.
yeah, it's actually very responsive. Um, like the movement is
Like,
is
at
is
the
pretty
indie level.
responsive. Everything is. I mean, the game just feels good. Like controlling it, you don't feel out of control at all. Like I said, the only like thing
Yeah.
is sometimes you get turned around because it is zero gravity. Um, but that's something that
Okay.
you have to kind of overcome yourself. It's not like a game design fault at all.
All right. So, what would you rate this game, and like, what was good, what was bad?
Um, I don't know. Like, I mean, we've been rating games for a little bit, like a little while now, and I've been like trying to like rethink on how I rate games. I feel like sometimes I rate them a little bit too high. But I mean, this is definitely um, like last week I definitely messed up with my ratings. I think I rated things too highly when I shouldn't have. But 7 out of 10. I mean, this is
That's
this.
exactly what it got on Steam or Metacritic.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
got a 70 out of 100.
yeah, this is a very like it's a
Oh
very
well.
solid game. I'm definitely gonna play it until the end of the game. And it's definitely a game someone should pick up, but not for $20. It's not worth 20
That's
bucks.
that no, that's an insane price. Like the
Yeah,
fact that Bastion
Yeah.
and like Fez and like well-known indie games don't charge that much for full price. I think Bastion and Fez are both 15.
hmm
20 bucks is steep.
yeah, it's really steep. I mean, if Bastion is there for $15, that's like one of the games that, I mean, even though I wouldn't want it for $20, even though it's like my favorite one, still that's $20 is really really steep. But yeah, like right here you can see
The
he's going through
graphics in
like
this
the
game are pretty
emails.
amazing though.
Yeah, it's a really good game. It's very unique. Like I don't
Like,
think I've seen something like this
but like
before.
I can see like where he like would pull that price tag from.
I mean,
Because
yeah,
that's a lot of work.
yeah. It is a lot of work to be honest.
Yeah.
Like because I mean, it looks really good, and because it's a full 3D game, obviously.
Yeah.
So I can't understand. I could understand the $20, but it's definitely not worth it. But like I said,
It's probably one of those like fake indie games where a small studio worked on it instead of a couple individuals.
yeah,
Because like at a
I
price
can't
like
see.
that,
I can't see
I
it just like like a few people making this game.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, 7 out of 10, solid game. Pick it up if it's on sale. If it's not on sale, I would probably skip it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for this game. Leo, do you want to start on your game?
Oh yeah. So during like the midweek sale on Steam or whatever, um, I picked up this game called Elemental. I've had my eye on it for like quite a while because I'm into indie platformers, especially like the more skill based ones. So like after Dust Force and Super Meat Boy, I was like I still had like that itch going for like kind of hard platformers, and so I picked this one up when it was on sale for $5, and I have pretty mixed feelings about it. Like the first time I played it, I was talking to Dan about it. I was like, wow, this game is so
Yeah.
fun,
Hmm.
you know. And the game is basically you're an element, but you can like transfer between like four different types of elements. So you can control ice, rock, fire, and air. And like each element has like their own special ability and like like things that they can do to help you get through the level and survive. Like air can only be in the air. It can't touch the ground or else you die. Or like you can't touch any walls or you die or the ceiling or you die. And like the rock form can help you like get acceleration by falling faster like to the ground. You can like spam it and it like really increases your acceleration downwards. And ice is just kind of like your like regular form that like you stay in just to go through the entire level. you slide super easily, and you're like pretty impervious to like the ground and the walls and stuff. And then fire is just how you like get your acceleration, but you can only travel right with your fire. So like when you press the fire button, which is right, you can only go right with it. So like there's some times when you want to go left and you literally can't use the fire element, you know.
Mm.
And the controls are very simple. Just to switch between forms is each form is like one of the arrow keys. So up is air, down is rock, left is ice, and right is fire. And that's
Wait,
it.
wait, is that all the controls in the game, or do you move with
That
WASD?
no, that's all the controls.
Wait,
You
wait, wait,
can't
wait.
move.
Oh, so you can't. Oh, wait. So when you're in fire mode, you go right. So you can't go left at all.
You can't go left at all. It just propels you right. That's it. So you have to somehow move to the end of the stage by using a combination of each of the like elements' abilities.
I really like the sound of that. That sounds so cool. But I don't know. You're about to change my
Yeah,
decision
no,
or
no. So
whatever.
it sounds cool, and like the first couple of levels, I was like, wow, like this mechanic is like it's so great. But then after I played like 10 different levels, and I've gone through like the first 3 sections. I'm not sure how many sections are in the game.
Uh huh.
I'm like midway in the fourth section, and it's just gotten so tedious.
Does it get
Like I
boring?
haven't, well, not boring. It's just like because you only have like a certain restricted way to move throughout the level. Like it just gets frustrating when like you have to execute a certain uh like uh like chain of commands, and like there's stupid things in the game that like mess it up. Like I'll be 1 pixel off and I'll just die because I'm not in the right form for the certain obstacle. So like you just die instantly from that because things that fire is like not is immune to, ice and air and rock can all die to. So like if you
Uh,
switch a little bit too early or a little bit too late, you just die, and it
yeah.
sucks. It's not fun.
I think I don't know who it was. I think it was like Edmund McMillan, one of the devs of Super Meat Boy. He was like one of the goals for like the saws in the game, the circular saws that spin, was to
Yeah.
have an obstacle in the game that can be used so can be so versatile, like can be like used later in the game, and how it can keep being fresh. So they use saws that would stay like in place. Then they would use saws that would move back and forth. Then they would
Yeah,
use
yeah.
saws that were like on a pivot arm that swung and stuff like that. And so like he says you have to keep it fresh, like you have to keep using what you have and keep making it like entertaining for the player, so that way they don't get bored with the game. So I'm assuming that game kind of falls syndrome to that. Like the
Yeah.
commands kind of feel stale after a while, I guess. Does that make sense? Or I don't know. Like
Yeah.
they get
No,
I
no,
guess they
that's exactly it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
try to introduce like a new form of obstacle with like these mine carts that you can like hop in and like move around by changing forms, like to help the mine cart go faster. But it really
Mm,
like it didn't do anything for me, you know? Like
yeah. Wait, hold on, Leo.
I
Have
don't
you
know.
played Electronic Superjoy?
No,
You should. I heard that game's amazing. Have you heard of it before?
no, I haven't actually.
You haven't? Okay.
No.
It's a really 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 hard platformer that is like there's like electronic music that like it has like 3 soundtracks of electronic music, and like it's supposed to be super super fun. So like you should check it out.
Okay.
It looks really cool. Like I think I'm actually gonna try it even though I'm
Yeah.
so bad at platformers. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm really into this genre, and to be honest, it wasn't like terrible. It's just when because the levels get hard. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's like 30, 40, like 40 minutes I spent on like the last 2 levels, because I just get frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it's like something I have to do. I just have to beat it. You know what I mean? So like, I it's so I don't know. Getting stale, but at the same time, the soundtrack has helped a lot. Like the story is just so disjointed. Like I don't even know what's going on.
Oh, there's a story?
There's like an attempt at a story. I guess it's tied to like the way he wants you to like the developers want you to beat the levels is like the way in which the story is like made. So like the first level is like uh it's like intuition or something, and the second level was brain. So it's
Oh
like
my
you have
gosh,
to.
I played a game like that. It was called Noir, and it was the
Okay.
shittiest indie game I have ever played. It was a platformer, and it was like supposed to be like Limbo, and it had that same thing where like at the beginning of every level, the level's name was like something else, like that was supposed like hinting towards what happened in the level or how you were supposed to
uh,
beat the level, and it was such bullshit. It was horrible, and the game was bad.
So
Okay,
so
sorry.
like the game like kind of there's only like one solution to beating the game then.
it's not one solution because like, this is like a free form game. You know what I
Uh
mean?
huh.
Like I've definitely done things a certain way that's like not how he intended it to be, just because of the nature of like how you can just change throughout the elements, and it's not like super required. Like you can get up a ledge by like using acceleration, or you can just get lucky and spam up like 1,000 times like I do, and eventually just get there. You know.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so the story's kind of disjointed, and like there's like weird graphics that go along because each it's not the name of the levels, it's like the name of each section that has like this overarching theme to it, and it kind of makes sense in the fact that like it does help change like the levels up. So yeah, this one like you can be more creative on it because
Mhm.
like you know what I mean, because now you understand how to play the game more, and like the first level is called like whatever it was called, so you can like get to know each of the elements. And they did a good job of like introducing you to each of the elements because they do it one at a time. In the
Uh-huh.
first section, level by level, you start out with just air, and then you get air and ice, and then you get air, ice, and rock, and lastly you get the fire element, which is by far the hardest to use because it's like it makes you go fast, and you also like you go right really fast, and you also fall just as fast as you fall with rock and ice. So
Okay.
it's like the
And you
hardest to
and you
control.
can't touch the ground with fire, right?
Yeah, you can only touch like lava or and that's it, or be in the air. But you can
Okay.
like bounce off of lava. It's kind of cool, you know.
The only game I've ever like played where there's like this overarching story and there's like different parts of every level that kind of have like this overarching theme is Thomas Was Alone, which isn't really like a platformer per se, is more of a puzzle game. But like that was the kind of game, I don't know if any of you played it, where
Mm-hmm.
like they kind of
I
have like
love that
that.
game.
There's like you played it?
Yeah,
It was a
Oh
great
yeah, so
game.
yeah, so like that one, that game, that's like honestly like that game hit it so right. Like they did
yeah,
everything so good. The story was fantastic. Like the
yeah,
narration was perfect. Like the gameplay was pretty okay. So, but
yeah.
all right, what would you give the game? Like if you had to rate it, like
Um, probably probably a 5.5. I mean,
ooh,
no, no,
okay.
no, but that's not bad. Like
I mean that's
I
an
enjoyed the time I spent with it.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
But like
wait.
it's not like a game I'm gonna be coming back to over and over again. You
Okay.
know?
Will you beat it? Are you going to beat it, or have you beaten it?
No, I'm gonna beat it, and
Oh,
I'll
you are.
probably have spent. Yeah, I'm gonna beat it.
Okay.
So maybe like a 6, but
Okay.
it's in that range of like, it's good. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
not like the a mind blowing experience,
What's your
but
favorite thing that the game did, though? What's your favorite thing about the game?
my favorite thing about the game is it is the limiting controls. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I've never had that before, but at the same time, that was also the thing I hated the most about it. Because
I gotcha.
like if you lose acceleration, like you're almost like doomed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would
Mhm.
just end up killing myself so I could go back to a checkpoint, which is like kind of shitty. But
Yeah.
that's like the only way you can get through the level.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
So
Okay.
something I want to quickly bring up before we wrap this section up is I know you're a big fan of music in games. Like you like your platforms that have really good music. How was the music
Yeah.
for this? Because I know last time you were on, you were talking about Dust Force and how it had had a great soundtrack to it.
Uh, the music was like honestly, it's what's kept me playing because it is like it's interesting. You know what I mean? And I think it's pretty good, but it's not something I'm gonna buy. Like I bought the Dust Force soundtrack. I'm not gonna buy this soundtrack.
Yeah,
You know?
Dylan, can we watch the Electronic Super Joy trailer? Can we put it in the media? Can we do it?
Yeah, I could try. Just give me a second.
All right, I'll give you a second. I really want you to watch this. Okay, so I found it on Steam. It just got greenlit. It was like on Desura and stuff before that. It's $7.99 full price. It's not on sale, so it's only $7.99. And it's like it's called hold on. It's called Electronic Superjoy. Superjoy. And it's like this like cool sort of like black and white game with vibrant colors and stuff like that. And if we watch the trailer, you'll completely understand. So whenever Dylan gets it up, he can tell us. But yeah, like it's like a really hard platformer with like pretty basic controls and stuff like that. And like the music is supposed to be super awesome. And I've heard the game's just like really good. That's why I would say like I'd suggest it because it's got like it says like 8 hours of gameplay, 3 huge boss fights, like jump, smash, fly, and dance across 3 brutal worlds and stuff like that. So, it looks like an awesome game. I'm going to buy Electronic Superjoy one day. And since I'm so excited about a platformer and I'm so shit at platformers, like I bet it's gonna be super good. So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
The only thing is that-
So I have it here. This is actually not the trailer. I just have gameplay for it.
Okay, that's the same thing. It's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, here it is. All right. And obviously I can't really have, wait, I think I can have music. Alright, so yeah, I think I have the music going.
It kind of reminds me of like VDD.
Yeah, it's got like
If
that.
you've played that.
It's got like that bit graphics, like, but like, it's more of a platformer than VDD is like a puzzle game. You know?
No, but VDD, it is a platform.
I love
Yeah, but it's
the
like
music.
It's no that game.
I can't hear it.
Oh, you can't? Oh, you have to
Oh,
turn
yeah.
you have to go to the stream and unmute it.
No, I got it now. I got it now.
Yeah, but like I really want to buy Electronic Superjoy. It looks so good.
And I also like how the attack actually like makes a like it fits in with the soundtrack.
Like the soundtrack is like something like stupidly long. Like I forget how long it is. Hold on, maybe it has it on its Steam page. 35 tracks of music. So they made 35 tracks for this game.
Wow.
Of electronic music, and it's all supposedly really good. Like tons of people are saying they like downloaded their soundtrack and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna buy it here shortly. Probably not at full price, but if it like ever goes on sale at all, I'll probably buy it because it looks so much. It just looks so good. So.
Yeah. Actually, I might pick this up.
Yes, this is actually like
It's supposed to be.
really good.
It's supposed to be really hard too. Like I've seen people play like these levels with like missiles and stuff attacking them, and you have to like dodge the missiles, and you can kill the missiles if you jump on them, but like only if you do like a jump attack and stuff like that. So like it's like really difficult too. So.
And also it seems like the screen is like moving on its own, so you have to keep up the pace.
Yeah, so I think most of the levels do that. So yeah, you have to keep up the pace while dodging stuff and like everything. It's like really hard. So yeah.
The background reminds me of like Super Hexagon.
Yeah, the game. See that? Yeah, I just really want this game. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, even though I really want to keep listening to this music, did you give it a rating, Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah. You give it like a 6 or a 5.
A
Yeah.
6?
About five.
Okay.
Yeah, about a 6. And just like for my recommendations to actually buy the game, if it's on sale and you like platformers, I'd give it a shot, you know, because it does have a cool dynamic. But otherwise, like just at your own risk, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It is only a $5 game though.
It's $10, I think, and
Really?
I bought it for 5. Yeah.
Maybe that is. Hold
It
on. I
might
thought
still
I
be
clicked
on sale.
Well, oh, it is. Sorry, my bad. It is $10. It's 50% off till October 21st. So a few more days.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's on sale right now. Pick it up if you're into that type of thing. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks, Leo.
ch-
And I think we're gonna go into the main part of this podcast. It's gonna be Hearthstone. Grizzly just picked it up because he
I
got
think
a
I picked
beta
it up.
key. He got a beta
Yeah.
key because he's special. And while he's talking about it, I am actually gonna play a little clip from the stream that he does. Plug in the stream. So
Okay.
check that out. He streams pretty often. He's gonna stream Arena this weekend. So
Yes.
Grizzly, go
Yes.
ahead.
All right. So I guess I'll preface this first by saying I'm not actually like the biggest fan of card games. So I played Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a child, right? Like everyone. And then I just recently sort of got into Magic, and like the thing that bothered me most about Magic was like sort of like it was really pay to win, which I guess is any collectible card game, but also like Magic you could get super unlucky. Like I understand it's a lot about deck construction, but like you could get mana screwed. Like you could just shuffle your deck in such a way that like you have like a perfect draw, and then your next like 10 cards are all creatures or something like that, or all mana or whatever. So like that sort of like those sort of elements of Magic were like kind of turnoffs to me. Like I love playing it casually, but I didn't really like actually like playing it to win. And it was like sort of crappy when like a lot of people I knew would go really really like hard at the game and construct these insane decks and spend a lot of money on these decks and stuff like that. And then when I would play with them, it wouldn't really be fun at that point. So yeah, just to preface this, like I'm not the biggest fan of card games. Like I didn't go into Hearthstone being like I'm gonna love this game, but I went into Hearthstone saying, well, I'm like I enjoy a good card game, but like I'm not gonna go ham at it or whatever. So without further ado, I've probably spent like 35 hours on the game, and I've only had it for like 2 days. So no, I play it all the time. Like it's my go-to game right now, just because. Well, I'll talk about the elements that make it really really good and why I like it. But it's such a fantastic game. Like Blizzard really 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 did well on this. It's just so much fun. So I guess I'll talk about like the things I really like about it. One, I really like the way they do mana in that game. You get a mana crystal every turn. Goes all the way up to 10. So it's just super simple. It takes out all the mana. It makes it a more casual game, easier to play. You never have to worry about getting mana screwed. It's just really cool. I've heard a lot of balance discussion about turn two. So on turn two, if you don't know about the game, player one gets to go first, right? So they get to play a card, but they only get one mana and they don't get to draw. Turn two gets an extra card than turn one, plus they get this card called the coin. It uses 0 mana, and it gives you an extra mana crystal whenever you want. And so a lot of people say that turn two is super OP, because not only do you get an extra card, but then you can hold on to the coin, which is that card that gives you an extra mana, for whenever you want. So you can actually you don't have to use that on your turn. I think it was originally intended so that turn two could play it like on their first turn, but since they don't have to, they can play it like on turn 7, 8, 9, or 10 or whatever. So it doesn't really matter about that. So I actually went off on a tangent and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Or the things I liked. I don't know what I have no idea what. Okay. So yeah, I like the mana. The mana in the game's cool. The crafting is awesome. So I'm not a huge. I just said like before, I'm not a huge pay to win kind of person. Like especially when it comes to video games, because like I have so many options of video games to play and so many good video games for so cheap. I'm not gonna end up spending a ton of money on a video game just because like it will get me better or whatever. So the really cool thing about the game is you get gold. So the in-game currency is gold, and you use that gold to buy boosters or enter the arena. So the exchange rate is 100 gold for every booster, and then $2 for every 100 gold. So booster packs are basically $2. So that's not bad. Boosters are really small in the game, though, unlike Magic, which I think is 11 or 9. Anyone know? You guys know what the size of a Magic booster is?
I'm pretty sure it's 9, but I'm not pretty sure at the same time.
Okay, so the boosters in Hearthstone are only 5, so it's a really small amount. But you don't have to buy boosters like with your real money. You can buy them with in-game money. And then also there's Arena, which is basically like a big draft mode where you get a huge random draft that you get to choose between or choose your cards in. And then what happens is if you beat Arena, which essentially means you get 9 wins before you get 3 losses, it pays off super 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 high. So I think it goes 150 gold to get into the Arena, right? So that's like 225. I don't know what that is. So 225 or whatever to get into the arena, and then say you win 9 games, so you go 9-2. What happens is you actually end up getting all your gold back. Basically, I think you get about 150 gold back, so it pays for itself there. You either get 2 boosters or you get a booster and a gold card. So that's like, I think that's like super rare, or whatever. And then what you can do with that rare card is you can also disenchant it for a lot of dust, and dust is used in crafting cards. And then also you get a small amount of dust when you do that. So if you're really good at arena, you essentially pays for your arena visit, plus you get basically 2 boosters worth of cards, or a little bit more. So that's like something I really like about the game, where if you're good at the game, you will never actually have to spend money. The only problem is I've been facing right now is you'll either have to grind out a bunch of gold right now and get a bunch of boosters, or you need to just get really, really lucky with your like arena, because like I'm playing at a gold 3 level, so I'll talk about the rankings here later, and I have not spent a single dollar on the game, nor have I opened up any boosters. I have 400 gold in a booster sitting that I was just kind of waiting to open up or whatever, and it's actually really difficult to kind of win a majority of my games, because a lot of rare cards are, of course, better than normal cards. So I'm playing a lot of people who have spent money and stuff like that, and it is harder to pick up wins, because that's kind of the nature of card games when it gets competitive. But it's still super fun. I mean, I made it halfway up the ladder already without spending a single dollar. And I'm sure if I, get better at the game, make better decisions, make a better deck or whatever, I can probably get even higher. I can probably get up to platinum, high platinum. So the game's just so much fun. I could talk about it forever. Oh, it's so perfect. So do you have any questions so far before I go off on like 10 other things
just
I like?
a quick question about the dust.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the dust, when you want to craft a card, is it like, oh, spend 3 dust and get a random card, or do you actually get use the dust on a specific card that you want?
Yeah. Good. Okay. Good question. Because I think a lot of streamers or video makers or whatever don't actually do a lot of like the crafting stuff. More people want to see the game. More people want to see how the game plays and stuff like that. So here's how the game works. So you can sorry, I itched my face. There's normal cards, and then there's class cards, and then there's it's hard to explain this. So there's normal cards, which every class can use. They're called normal. They're not rare. They're their own classification of cards, right? So you'll see a shaman and a mage both play the same cards. That's a normal card. Everyone can use that card. And then there's class cards, which only that class can use. So only mage can use fireball. Only shaman can use like totemic call or totem call or whatever it's called. So okay, that was a bad example. Those were hero powers. A mage can only use fire blast. Or no, fireball. Sorry, fireball. Fireball and fire blast are 2 different things. A mage can only use fireball, and a shaman can only use. I don't know. I don't play shaman, but so shaman can only use shaman cards. So that's how it goes. So those are kind of how the cards are done. And then what you can do is you have like this catalog of cards, of all the cards in the game that you have access to. You can look at this catalog whenever you want. And then it has how much dust they require to cost. So there's a super legendary card called Jiraxis. He's like super, super good, and he's 1,600 dust. And to put this into perspective, you only get like 40 dust when you win Arena. So that's pretty insane. But here's the other thing. If you disenchant a rare card, like a golden rare card, you get like 400 dust. So if you disenchant like crappy cards, you'll never disenchant a like super rare card basically, because there's no point, right? You won't get a lot of dust for it. And so like a lot of times what players will do is when they say they win Arena and they get a gold like super rare card, right? They'll immediately disenchant it, and then what happens is you automatically get more for the gold card than the non-gold card of that same card. So you disenchant your gold card for 400 dust. And so that card not gold is only 200 dust. So you rebuy the card, and then you have an extra 200 dust. So that's kind of how the crafting works.
Wait, so quick question. So the only difference between a regular and gold card is the way it looks and how much it costs?
It's like a foil, yeah.
Okay.
So say I get a planeswalker in Magic, and he's holographic. And say you get a planeswalker, the same planeswalker in Magic, and he's not. Like, in theory, I could trade mine in, get yours, and then have a little bit over to spare. So that's how that works. You can only disenchant non-normal cards that aren't part of the basic set. So that's kind of hard to explain. So say you start the game and you don't spend any money, right? And the cool thing is, for every single deck, you get like 20 cards to unlock. And it's the same 20 cards for everyone. So you kind of feel this progression of unlocking new cards, and those are class cards. So if I play Hunter, and I unlock my 20 Hunter cards, they can only be used for Hunter. But the thing is, you cannot disenchant those cards, and you can't like get rid of them because they're part of the game. So you get stuck with those cards. And so the only cards you can disenchant are cards you get from boosters. Boosters, I can't disenchant any cards because I have no, like, all those cards are part of like the core set. So it's like really weird. You have to kind of get into it and figure out what cards are cards you can disenchant and stuff like that. It's not as complicated as it sounds, but like it's really hard to explain. And I really like the way they do it. I think that is so cool. So you get like a super rare card, but like you don't, or you get a rare gold card, and you're like, oh well, I don't really need the gold, so I'll just get the same card and then extra. So yeah, you have this catalog. You can look through it. A lot of normal, like a lot of really bad, no, I don't want to say bad cards, but a lot of like common cards are only 100 dust. So you can like get a gold card, disenchant it, and then get 5 pretty good common cards and stuff like that. So that's how it works.
Wait,
I
so
think it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is all dust created equal, or is there like dust and then there's arcane dust, which like
No, arcane
is,
dust
like,
is the same
worth
thing as
more?
dust. Arcane
No,
dust
but
is the
no,
same
but
as
no,
dust.
but I mean no, but I'm saying like in some like games there's a crafting system where there's like normal like crafting material, and then there's like special crafting material that like it's harder to come by, or you can like spend real money on
No,
it.
it's just one.
that,
It's just
like,
one crafting
accelerates
material.
that. Okay.
It's just one crafting material. So
Yeah.
the only thing you can spend money on is gold, as of now. And so gold
Yeah.
will only buy you boosters, and gold will only buy you arena passes. And the only time you can get dust outside of disenchanting a card is by winning an arena. Well, they'll give you a little bit of dust for doing okay.
Okay.
So the crafting system is awesome. I really like it. I haven't really explored it yet, but as I can tell, like, I have 400 gold, which means I have 4 boosters I could potentially open. So I could, craft the cards I want, get rid of cards, Maybe I don't want to play... Maybe I get a good Shaman card, but I don't like to play Shaman. I could disenchant that and use that dust to make a Hunter card. So that's really cool. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to say I like everything about the game. There's not much I hate about it. So it's going to get bad. So the next thing that I really like... Well, I have a little bit of mixed feelings on, I should actually say. Like, I don't hate it, is the hero powers. It's kind of the thing that makes Hearthstone what it is. So I think you guys all know what hero powers are. It's a 2-mana spell that you can use every turn after turn 2, or I guess on turn 2, really. That is unique to that hero, and it varies from do 1 damage to anything, do 2 damage to the opponent, heal yourself for 2, like heal your creatures for 2, give yourself 2 armor. And like I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about the game now because I'm addicted to the game and I need more every second. And I've been listening to Arctos' and Doa's podcast called Turn 2. And they talk a lot about the game because they're all Masters 3, which is the highest you can get. And they all talk about like kind of the current balance of the game and how some heroes are actually a lot weaker than others. Like, generally speaking, Paladin right now is the strongest, and then what would be Priest are considered like the weakest right now. And it's not due to their cards that they can play, but it's mostly due to their hero abilities. And those are both kind of their hero abilities are abilities. So Priest is heal 2 of anything. So you can heal yourself for 2, you can heal your creatures for 2, and then Warrior is give yourself 2 armor. So what armor is it's kind of like health, but it overlaps health, so it takes priority. So say my creature has 1 health and 2 armor, the damage goes to the armor first and then the health. So it's kind of like that, but you can stack armor past health. So that's the thing about armor that makes it better. So if a creature can only have 5 health, you can stack armor past that. So you can have 5 health and 6 armor. like for example. So that's why armor is better than healing. And those are generally considered a lot weaker than the other ones. They have less utility. Like a mage can do 1 damage to anything. So a lot of times if someone plays like a 3/1 card, they can just blast that 3/1 for 1 and then kill it. So that's not as good. And Hunter can just like plow you down for 2 damage. Warlock has this thing called life tap. He takes 2 damage, draws a card, so that way he doesn't have to put cards in his deck that require him to draw cards. He can just life tap him to get extra cards on the field. Like Shaman, you can call out totems. They're random totems that go onto the field that have like different abilities and stuff like that. So there's all these different hero powers that make the certain decks play differently, and they really do. Like I played Paladin, I really didn't like him, and I played Mage and I played Hunter, and I really liked those. So I'm exploring like with a bunch of different decks, and it's like super super cool. But at the same time, like I'm really turned off by Paladin, and everyone's like Paladin's the best, Paladin's so strong, and I just don't like the way it plays, and it kind of sucks because like if you don't like the way it plays, then you're kind of like pushed away from like a ninth of the game, because I can never experience those Paladin cards now. Like I can never experience like the different types of Paladin decks they're made, just because like it's so hit or miss with like the hero powers. Like the hero power for Paladin is summon a 1/1 token, and I find that to be like really useless, because like when you compare that to the mage can literally shoot that down every time he plays it. And so it's just like, oh, well, what's the point? But then there's cards like Raid Leader that give those tokens, +1 attack, and I don't know. It really depends on how you like to play. And I guess I should say that's another reason I like the game. There's so many ways you can play the game. There's a deck for everyone. There's different types of decks for everyone. Like I know like the current deck build for Paladin right now is Divine Shield Paladin, where you get a bunch of cards with Divine Shield, which basically give your cards like it like doubles everything. Like it gives them like a barrier, so you have to kill the barrier first and then kill the card. And so it's such a great game for customization, and it's just awesome. Like it's everything you'd expect from Blizzard. And I'm gonna talk for hours, so you're gonna have to stop me. You're gonna have to stop me, guys.
But no, you said that you're like turned off from a ninth of the game. Is that because that one part of the game just feels maybe a little gimmicky?
No, it doesn't feel gimmicky. Shut up, Leah. No, it doesn't feel gimmicky, because I don't think it's as strong as the thing. Like I just don't like the way it plays. Because I think Mage and Hunter are stronger than that, and like the fact that I could gun down that token every time he plays it with my hero ability, it just feels like mine's more useful. Because not only can I gun down his token, but I can gun down another card, or I can gun down him, and it's just like I don't know.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
it's just like preferential towards like maybe your personality as
exactly. Yeah. And like that's kind of cool though, because like the fact that they have 8 other decks for me to play is sweet, because like if I don't like that one, I can play the other. So I mean, I guess I really shouldn't be saying that much, because in like World of Warcraft, no one plays every single class, and in StarCraft, no one plays every race. So I guess it makes sense that you're not not to the highest level. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's cool because it's versatile, but at the same time, like I want to experience it all because it's so fun. But I don't know. What next?
So obviously, like Blizzard first released the beta to a lot of like StarCraft pros, a lot of like YouTube like celebrities, if you will, like in the first kind of like wave, I guess, just to test out like the game, how it actually played, and then now it seems like they're releasing it a little bit more people to kind of test the servers. I mean, that's what it seems like. I'm a
famous YouTuber, so that's probably why I call it. No.
But I mean, right now it seems like we can expect basically this in almost the final copy. I mean, not exactly this, but it seems like this is almost the final copy. Do you think they're going to make a lot of balance changes to this, or?
Okay. So, I'll talk about a little bit how the beta works for a second. So, whenever Blizzard releases a beta, because I'm a Blizzard fanboy, what they do is they do friends and family first. So everyone who works at Blizzard gets a beta key, and then I would assume like each one of them gets like maybe 3 that they can give out to their friends, right? So if you're a friend of a Blizzard employee, they need like a small control group, right? So they do that first. It's called friends and family. So if you're friends and family with a Blizzard person, you get into the alpha is essentially what that is. And so what they did is they're like, okay, well, once they figured out that the game, that's like when the game is kind of borderline playable. It's got a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, but they need to see how people will play this game. And then they released it to like famous YouTubers. not really famous YouTubers, but more people who are part of the community. So you saw a lot of StarCraft players get it. A lot of StarCraft, not players, but StarCraft celebrities, I guess, more
Yeah,
like
like
StarCraft
personalities.
communities. Yeah, personalities. That's the best word for it. So you had a lot of personalities. They gave it to a lot of World of Warcraft streamers, a lot of Diablo
Yeah.
streamers, like a lot of people who are part of the Blizzard community. And then they reached out to a little bit other people. Maybe they see this League of Legends player has a bunch of people watching their stream, and maybe he'll play Hearthstone, and maybe that'll be 20,000 eyes on Hearthstone. So they did that. They gave it to a couple of League streamers and stuff like that. And then I think they gave it out to more people, like YouTubers who aren't necessarily connected to Blizzard, but are connected to gaming. So, of course, you see, Total Biscuit got one because he is a StarCraft personality and, a World of Warcraft person. He was there from the beginning. And then you see other players who are not really as attached to, to Blizzard. So that's what they kind of did there. And then I guess they released it to kind of more of the public, and I guess I'm part of that. It's still considered pretty closed because I've never played a Blizzard beta where there's been glitches and bugs until now. So the game still has to be refined a bit.
Have you run into any bugs?
Yes, I have. I've run into the game-breaking bugs, so that's why I actually mentioned it. So I'll talk about that for a little. So there's 2 bugs I have encountered. One is just a graphical bug. Well, actually, no, 3, but they kind of fixed the one. So the first time you ever went to make a deck, the game would crash. So it wasn't game breaking so much as the fact that it ruined my experience. But it was weird. It was the first time. So the first time loading that, it would crash and never again. So they fixed that, so that should never happen. The next one was actually game breaking. So it turns out the way you play, you can play really fast. And I was playing really fast. And I guess I played a card as my character was automatically drawing one. And what that did was it put the card I drew behind another card in my hand, and you could not access that card until you played the card in front of it. So it was a glitch. I was like, whoa, is this a feature? No, it was a glitch. So that was actually game breaking, because if that would have been me top decking or something like that, I would have lost because of it. So that was game breaking, and that needs to be fixed really badly. The other ones I've encountered were graphical glitches. I think on my stream it actually happened where someone you can so the way the game works, which is really cool, is if your opponent's going to play a card, right, and he's he's hovering his hands on it, and he's looks like he's about to play it, on the screen his card will come down, and you can see he's holding a card that he might play, and then he was gonna and then he can pull it back or put it on the field. But I think I attacked while he had it out, and it just stayed there forever. On the screen for the rest of the game. So that wasn't a big deal, but that was a graphical glitch that was kind of annoying. So those are the glitches I encountered. But back to the beta, I listened to a lot of Turn 2, that podcast I was telling you about, and in the early parts of the beta, Rogue was super overpowered. Rogue was just so strong. Mathematically, you could make a deck that was unbelievably strong, and that was part to do with the coin and stuff like that, where if you got turn 2, you could play a 2/3 who summoned a 2/1 on your first turn if you got the coin. So it was absolutely absurd. So they did a lot of balance changes to that, and I think once they patched that through, they sent out another wave of invites, and I got part of that. So I got part of that, and the game gets constantly balanced right now. And I remember listening to the Turn 2 podcast where they had a guy from the Hearthstone development team on, and he was saying how they're going to really focus on balancing this first block of cards before they start thinking about adding on an expansion, because they're not quite happy with the balance of the game right yet. Because Warrior and Priest are considered really, really weak. I guess you never see them really high up. So they need to do that. And then what else was I going to talk about in the beta? Oh, so as for changes, the beta is actually very, very, very sparse. I don't know how to say it. There's not a lot in the game. The features you get are Arena, you have versus AI, and you have Ladder, and that's it. That's all you can do. There's no spectator client yet. There's no replays. There's no community anything yet. There's a lot of stuff missing from the game. And so my theory is, since there's no spectator client yet, and there's going to be a tournament at BlizzCon in November, I have a really good theory that they're gonna have a huge patch for either that, like to include a spectator client, and like a bunch
Yeah.
of other features for that, and then they probably are gonna throw it into like open beta or even release the game or something like that. Because the game, like still being in pretty closed beta, not like as like it's only been out for like a month I think, or maybe a little bit over a month. Um, it's like super polished. Like I run into a glitch like every other day, and half the time it's not game breaking, and I play a lot, so
Okay.
it's really good. Like in terms of like the polish, so yeah.
So I guess another like big question for this is I'm not really like too into like watching Hearthstone and like the direction it's gonna go into. Obviously I know what it is and I've watched videos on it, but like I'm not super into like the direction of the game. Um, is this gonna be like another esport, or is this just gonna be like a casual game? Because I remember hearing of someone like becoming like the first like pro player. I guess he
Okay.
was called.
So that's a really good question that I remember the dude from Blizzard himself was kind of struggling with to answer, because it's um a company doesn't really make an esport. We've seen that time and time again. They don't make a game
Yeah.
planning it to be an esport. The community makes it an esport. And so far, there have been community tournaments. There's been all these kinds of things. And one of the things that Blizzard even says about the game is like they say it's like super simple but like deceptively complex. And there's a huge complexity to it actually. The game is pretty deep. Of not as deep as Magic, but I was surprised. It's pretty deep. Like you can make like really strong decks if you know what you're doing and stuff like that. And there's a lot of decision making. Like, do I use my hero power? Do I use my hero power on that? Do I do this? Do I do that? And there's a lot of combos and stuff in the game you can do. Like my hunter build is like, do I throw out animal companion that I get a random card that's a beast and maybe it has taunt and stuff like that. So there's actually a lot of complexity to the game. But speaking about luck a bit, there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of luck. Not so much in the fact that like, oh, he's just gonna win. Like there's a 50-50% chance we're gonna win. But there's cards that do with luck. So there's one card that Mage has called Arcane Missiles, right? Does 3 damage, spread out, so it doesn't like 1 damage increments to anything on the
Yeah.
field on your opponent's side of the field, right? So if you watch, you might have seen this card, and you like use it in the tutorial. So what can happen is say your opponent has 2/1s and then like himself. Those arcane missiles can hit your opponent, just only your opponent, and those 1/1s stay on the field. Or it could be perfect and it could kill one creature, in your opponent, like how you would want it to work. So there's a lot of randomness in that. And then my hunter deck, I've got this card called Beast Companion, and it says summons a beast, right? Like a beast from like a side deck, right? And there's like 3 beasts. There's like this bear that's 4/4 with taunt, that's really good. There's a pig with 4/2 with charge, and like you get just one of those cards. So there's a lot of randomness that can be clutch, can be like top decking, like oh that's really unfortunate, like I lost because of that. So in the fact that there's a lot of randomness, it's hard to be really competitive when there's so much randomness. A lot of people say like even though there's a lot of randomness, that only really like that won't ever really like change a best of 3 or like a best of 5 between 2 great players or something like that. Or like the better player will always win in a best of 3 even if there's randomness. So I don't know. Think it will become an esport, but I don't think it will ever become as big as a StarCraft, a Dota, or League of Legends. I do think it will have an enormous player base, though. I think honestly, it's going to be the second most free-to-play game when it comes out. I think it's gonna beat Dota, and I think it's gonna be. I don't think anyone can really get close to League of Legends, but I think it'll be right there behind League of Legends. Like, it is such a fun game, and it's so casual. Like everyone can
I feel like
play
it
it.
has such a friendly UI as well. You know?
Oh, it's so intuitive.
Like there's a couple
You
big
don't
buttons, you know.
you don't need. That's the beauty about it over Magic. You don't need a rule book. You can just learn. Oh, the game lets me do this. I guess I can do it. Oh, I can't. I guess I can't. Like, it's so intuitive to learn the rules just by the way the game plays, and that's what's something that's like really appealing. And I feel like this is gonna like target an audience wider than than any game imaginable. Because you look at people who want to play a competitive game, but they obviously can't play StarCraft because it's way too fast paced, the learning curve's too high. Maybe they want to play a MOBA, but they hate the team based factor. They can't get along with their team or whatever. And they look at Hearthstone, a free to play game. They want to play a competitive game. Maybe they like strategy and they like to make their decks and they want to do this and that. And it's perfect because there's absolutely like no micro involved. It's just your decision making and deck building skills versus his. And I think that's going to target a much wider audience because it's not only going to attract people like us who just want to play it for fun, don't want to like be too competitive, but it's also going to target players who aren't competitive enough to play other games but still want to play a game. So I think it's going to be huge. I can't imagine it won't be. So, but yeah, definitely the esports side, I can't imagine it will take off. Like, you look at Magic the Gathering right now, and I know it's not digital or anything, but like it's obviously like not enormous. I mean, it's not really an esport, but I'm talking about competitiveness.
No, but they have like Magic the Gathering online and stuff, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like make it seem bigger than it is, but they do have like an online component that I know like people like there's some people who just play the online version and that they qualify for like the major tournaments via that route, you know.
Yeah. But like Hearthstone's it's such a fun game. Like I can't imagine someone's gonna play it and be like, "Oh, this is terrible," right? They'll be like, "Oh, maybe this isn't my cup of tea," but I don't think anyone can play Hearthstone and be like, "Oh, this is a shitty game." Like maybe some Magic like elitists who are like, "Oh, this game isn't complex. Oh, you don't have to draw land. Oh, it's easy peasy mode." But like, like I still don't think anyone can say, "Oh, this game's shit," because like they like the thing I love about Blizzard is they know when a game needs patched, they'll patch it. They try to make a game as best as it can be, as fair as it can be, as balanced as it can be. And like I think it'll be like I think in 6 months from now, Hearthstone's gonna be like a staple. Like people are like, "Oh, you play Hearthstone? Oh yeah, I play Hearthstone like a little bit or something like that." I think like everyone will play Hearthstone because it just targets everyone. So I'm excited for it, and I'm definitely gonna keep playing it. Unless for some reason it gets stale, but I can't imagine. So, yeah.
Just back to like what you were saying before about how there's like RNG and how that might affect like tournament play or whatever. I don't really think that's a huge issue, just because you're always gonna have a play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
You know, because like you get a certain amount of mana crystals every turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Magic where like it's the RNG of I actually can't do anything because I don't have enough mana to cast a spell.
Well, like the nice thing
you have mana and you can play cards.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the game is like that's the nice thing about the mana crystals and the hero powers. You almost always have the ability to do just something, right? Past turn 2, you could always use your hero abilities except for mage, but whatever. And then also the one thing I really like about it is that you don't necessarily like if you're completely opposed to using those luck-based cards. You can just take them out of your deck and you yourself don't have to use them. You can just try to play like a really solid deck, but like of course your opponent can get lucky and that kind of sucks, but like if you're super opposed to the luck factor, you can remove half of it. You can just you can essentially because once you remove all those luck-based cards, the only luck factor is your draw. And a good deck construction can fix that because I've learned like the more I play Hearthstone, the more I understand, like, you need cards to help you draw more cards, right? Like, you need to have, like, a bunch of cards that say draw 2 cards or draw an extra card or something like that. Because that helps you cycle through your deck, get more cards on field, make you have, like, a hand. And, like when you talk about that, you remove all the luck from the game, you have, a good deck construction. It actually really... There's not a lot of luck in the game at that point. And so you can play the game that way, so... I mean, it's just a fun game. It's so good.
Wait. You said that you like want more cards to draw more. Can you mill an opponent out? Like is it like Magic where like I can make a mill deck where you just like draw every card and then the game's over because you have no cards left to draw?
So there's a lot of concepts in the game that are original, and there's a lot that they didn't include from other games. So what happens when you run out of cards to draw? Okay, this is really important, and I can't believe I glossed over it. Decks are 30 cards. Top and like that's the top limit and bottom limit. I think your deck has to be 30 cards, And I mean that kind of makes sense because when you take out like the mana in a Magic deck, I think it's like a little bit more than 30. Isn't it like 32 or 34?
Yeah.
So it's not that different from a Magic deck. And what happens is when you run out of cards, which I've actually only ever happened to me once, you only take 1 damage per turn. So like it's called fatigue, where if you go to like you pretend like to go to draw and you just take a damage, right? So that's all that happens. And like as I was saying before, they don't take the concept of like milling people out, I guess is what you're saying. There's no cards that force your opponent to draw. There's no cards that there's cards that like let you draw, but like that's sort of like a concept they took out was making your opponent draw, because like in Hearthstone that would actually be like really good for your opponent. Because like it's which is like sacrificing 1 damage per turn to have a bunch of cards in your hand would be like super good.
This member of the chat, his name Valor, he says that
he's my bro.
The damage is like it goes up for every turn. So
turn
2, you take 2, and then on turn 3,
dude,
you take 3.
Valor's my bro, dude. He knows what's up.
No, so I guess like milling, it could be a strategy, but like I guess there aren't a lot of cards that mill your opponent. But
I get it. It's like exponential.
Yeah.
I've only ever had them draw 1, so I assume.
Well, it's not exponential.
Well, okay,
it's like,
linear. It's linear. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Yeah. Wait, is there like a discard pile? Is there such a thing as that? Like
no,
like...
there's no discarding in the game. It's just there's also there's no graveyard in terms of like get a card from your graveyard and summon it. There's no cards like that yet where you can summon cards from a graveyard. Like once a card dies, it's like gone. It's out. Peace. It's gone. So there's none of that. I think. Floor, back me up.
Actually, I mean, like if you look in the media right now, on the right side, there's like cards standing up, and there's like a skull below it. Is that the graveyard?
On the right side?
Yeah, on the right side, and there's like a. Oh nope, that's just the.
No,
deck.
those are your decks are on the right side.
Okay.
And then on the left side is like the. So you don't have access to the graveyard. I'm pretty sure you can't even look at it. But you do have you like there's that little battle log on the left side where you can see like the most recent actions and stuff like what happened. So, yeah, game's great. Let me tell you. What else is there to talk about? I guess I'll talk about the ranks for a second. So Leo was talking to me the other day. He's like, "What like rank are you in?" I was like, "I don't understand. It doesn't like tell you the ranks. It's really weird. No, it tells you like it has a symbol of your rank, but it doesn't tell you what it is. So it goes like apprentice, journeyman, copper, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, masters, and there's 3 tiers to every single one. So a bronze 1 is worse than a bronze 2. Or a copper 1's worse than a copper 2. Copper 3 is the highest. So I've made it all the way to gold 3. Like it's weird because it's not like StarCraft where you play 5 games, it puts you in a division, and then you play a bunch and then you get promoted. I just like kept winning. Like so say I won 2, it put me up to silver. Lost 2 and then won another, it put me up to gold 1, and then like I win 2 more and it puts me up to like gold 3 or something. Like, it was really weird, and I sort of like plateaued to gold 3. So I don't understand the ranking system just yet. I think it'll be refined a little bit more. But like the next, like if I were to get promoted, I get promoted to platinum 1 or whatever. Which I think that's the highest. Like I think it's harder to get promoted that way. Like I think it's like a gold 3 or a gold 1 is equivalent to like a 100 through like a 50 on like the StarCraft ladder. Like I'm 55 in my division, and then like gold 2 or whatever would be like 50 to 25, and then gold 1 would be like, or gold 3 would be 1 to 25 or whatever. So you're like top 8 in your gold division. I don't know. So it's like really weird. I think they'll probably fix that or explain it a little bit more or whatever in the future. But like yeah, like I was listening to Turn 2 and like Doa and Arctos and Wolf and all of them. They're already Masters 3 and stuff like that. Like Total Biscuits Masters 3 and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. Like ladder. Oh, I forgot to talk about daily quests. That's an important factor. So there's these things called daily quests that give you more gold. So the current gold rate is really low. It's 10 gold for every 3 wins. So that's basically 30 wins for a booster. So that sucks. I was like, that's not possible.
Oh wow.
But
That's a huge grind.
yeah, I know that sucks, right? But if you do daily quests, you get one quest per day, but they stack up to 3 days, I think. So you can have 3 daily quests available at a time before you start like wasting them. Does that make sense? Right now I have 2 daily quests I can do, and one of them is win 2 games with Shaman and like Warlock, and win 2 games as Rogue and Warrior or whatever, right? And those give you 40 gold each. So that's actually a lot. So if I do both of those, I'll get 80 gold. That's almost a booster, right? So you get those daily. I don't know if they'll add more or something later. But like, say I don't do any of those and I wait for tomorrow, I'll get another daily quest. And then if I wait till the day after that, I lose the one with the shaman and it gets kind of pushed back. So there's like an incentive for you to play every day to do the daily quest, and that way you can take a day or two off and then come back and win them some more. So that's kind of nice because like in theory, if you play a lot, you can afford a booster pack every 2 days of playing, essentially. So which is pretty good because like I mean like you're you're essentially making $8 a day. Yeah, no, that's it. Like
but then like I feel like because I've heard about things like this in WoW, the game where they have daily quests to like earn you gold or whatever, and then like people like feel like anxiety. It's like, well, I can't not play today or I can't not play once every 2 days, or else I'm gonna be losing money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they're
I feel like
fantastic game developers. No,
but I feel like that's kind of bad in the sense that I don't want to have anxiety over like this game I played just because.
Oh, I'm going to have it.
I'm
Well,
like
I mean,
losing
like
money.
the thing with like World of Warcraft is that you're paying per month, so that anxiety comes from I'm paying for this game and I'm not getting the fullest out of it. As this is a free-to-play game, so I don't think that's really going to show up as much. I mean, obviously it's different from person to person.
But what I'm saying is that like they had like this daily quest mechanic in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, no, I agree with Leo. Like
You know
right
what I
now, I need to finish one of those quests because I want more gold. I want boosters.
Yeah.
I want to play arena. I want to do all because it's so much fun because it's such a good game. I want to play and I want to continue to get more cards and do all this stuff. So like, the game is beautifully designed in that regard. Like everything about it like works out so well.
I could just see that like somehow stressing me out though. You know,
It sucks because you're like, I need to finish this, but I don't have a good shaman deck, and you're struggling to make a shaman deck just to win 2 games in a row. And, So, I mean, it's nice they give you like a little bit of a leeway of 3 days, or else, man, I'd be playing all the time. So yeah. Oh man, it's so good. If I could rate it, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 because it's perfect. I actually don't know what I'd give it, but it's really good. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I just want to get into the beta so I can like play it because I know I'm not gonna like be like a religious player of this game, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just gonna casually play it. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's the beauty of it. So like, I'll wake up at like so say I have class at 11 and I need to leave my house at 10:30, and say I it's like 9 o'clock, right? Or no, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, and I have like everything ready to go. And say I want to play a little bit of Hearthstone. I can probably play 3 games between 10 and 10:30, like because the games are so short.
Wow. That's pretty good.
So yeah, it's perfect for like if you just want to So say you play a game of StarCraft, it goes the wrong way, you just need to unwind. You can literally just spend 10 minutes on Hearthstone, close it really quickly, open up StarCraft again, just play it. Like it's so casual, but yet at the same time it doesn't feel like it's just perfect. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like the way it's designed is you can tell it's been being made, I think, for a while, because there was a WoW trading card game, like a physical copy one, and that kind of died out, and I feel like they were probably like once that died out, they were probably like, all right, let's work on a digital copy. That's kind of what we do best. Like it's called Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft for a reason.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this game was probably in development for quite a while. So I'm excited.
Well, I heard it was developed by like a really small team within Blizzard. Like
It's insanely small.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the guy said on the podcast I listened to, but I want to say it's around the number of 40, maybe less.
Mhm.
So you have 40 people working on this potentially enormous game. So, yeah, it's cool. It's awesome.
So I just want to quickly talk about. I guess it was about a year ago when they announced this, wasn't it? When they actually
I
announced that there was going to be a World of Warcraft digital trading card game.
I think it's less than a year.
No, no,
It was at PAX East
yeah.
or
So
PAX
was it real? Is that
or
when they announced it?
yeah, in Boston.
All right. What?
Yeah,
When was that? Like, what month was it in?
it was in the spring, in March.
Really? Wow. But
Yeah.
anyway, when they
Yeah,
announced
I
it,
was
I
gonna say
remember getting
it
like the
was.
feeling that, oh, a World of Warcraft trading card game, that's gonna be awful. And then we
Yeah,
see this,
yeah, no,
and it's
yeah,
like,
because
wow.
I remember there was supposed to be a huge Blizzard announcement, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be Blizzard All Stars, right? Because Blizzard All Stars has been announced for like 5 years now,
Hmm.
and we're all like, oh, it's gonna be Blizzard All Stars, and I see this game called Hearthstone, and I'm like, what is this? And it's like World of Warcraft trading card game, and I'm like, I'm not gonna play that shit.
Yeah, I was so
And then
turned off. I heard the
yeah,
announcement.
I was so angry. I was like, how could they do this? Blizzard, how could you do this to me? Like, what is this bullshit? And now I'm like, Blizzard. Um, I'm excited, and I think we can all assume that Blizzard All Stars or whatever it's called now, Heroes of the Storm, is definitely
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
the next beta they release.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be huge at BlizzCon. It'll probably be a playable version of BlizzCon, though, because they announced it already and
Mhm.
probably trying to
Yeah.
get people hyped. And then that beta will probably, well, they'll probably release the beta after Hearthstone comes out, right? They don't want to
Yeah.
conflict with anything. They don't
Yeah.
want to be like, oh, hey, streamers, we released Heroes of the Storm, and that'll take away from Hearthstone, maybe, or maybe Hearthstone
Yeah.
will take away from it. So they'll definitely release one before the other, or something like that. Um,
No, I just have a feeling they're gonna like release Hearthstone at BlizzCon, and then
I think
and
they
at the
will.
same time they're gonna do the Heroes of Storm beta like there as well, and like everyone that goes to BlizzCon gets a Heroes of Storm beta gear, something like.
It
something
probably
like
won't be that big, but yeah, I have a feeling
Well, I don't
Hearthstone.
know.
No, what they'll probably do is they'll probably have they'll probably release Hearthstone there. I'm thinking the same thing, and then everyone who shows up maybe gets like 3 boosters with their ticket or something like that, like that they can redeem online or get sent to their
Yeah.
BattleNet or something like that. And then what they'll probably do is they'll have a cinematic for Heroes of the Storm, and then what they'll probably do is say beta coming soon, and then probably in like the next month or two they'll send out beta keys to people, to maybe like League streamers, maybe even Dota streamers,
Yeah.
StarCraft players, all the sorts. So, but the cool thing about Hearthstone is I bet we'll see new personalities come out. So we'll probably see like original people, like how we see like the Purge from Dota 2, right?
Mhm.
Bases his career off of Dota
Yeah.
2. We have the Huskies of StarCraft, the Day9s of StarCraft. I can't wait to see those, to see streamers.
I feel like Trump is gonna be a big one because like I had never heard of this guy until
yeah,
like,
yeah,
someone
exactly.
was like, yeah, this guy is like super good at Hearthstone.
Yeah,
Like,
I
oh,
think
I'll
I think
check it
yeah,
out.
because obviously he got a lot of fame from Hearthstone because I had never heard of him beforehand. I knew he was famous. Well, I know he was famous before I heard of him. Like I like when I was like, oh yeah, Trump. I guess he was famous for something else. But like that's super cool that this is gonna kind of build up a small community, and I'm excited for that because that's cool. Like building esports, sort of esports.
Well, it's just getting more people involved in games, which is what I think that's always like a positive.
Oh, so wait, Leo, what would you say?
I said that like it's gonna get more people involved in games in general.
Oh,
which I
okay,
think
sorry.
is, like a good thing.
Oh, I couldn't hear. It was something like pinged
Okay.
out. Oh, it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I hope this is like the gateway drug. Honestly, like people go, "Oh, Hearthstone, this is cool," and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wait," because you have to have you have to use the Blizzard client for Hearthstone, and then you'll be like, "Oh, wait, what's this StarCraft or what's this Diablo 3 or World of Warcraft or Heroes of the Storm?" And they're like, "Oh, whoa, more games and stuff like that." And yeah, so it should be cool. I'm just super excited for. I can't wait. I just can't wait till it's released and it gets like supported and a lot of people spend money on it and it helps Blizzard and it helps the like development crew make more expansions and it's gonna be awesome. So
Yeah.
um, I'm excited. I'm happy. I think that's all I have to say unless you guys have any questions about Hearthstone
I don't have any questions.
that you're
Leo.
dying to ask.
Leo,
Leo,
do
you
you
got
have
any
any
questions?
questions?
Regarding Hearthstone.
Or anything like
Oh,
I can answer.
do they have plans to release? Well, I mean, from what you've heard, to release more like what are they called? Heroes?
Um,
Is that a thing, or is it like here's 9 of them and
so the way they do
that's
the
the baseline?
heroes is I think they're going to release more. I don't know. I might be talking
Just
out
like
my
one
ass.
with each expansion or whatever.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. It'll probably be like. But here's the way. Like, so the way they do heroes now is they take a specific person from the World of Warcraft lore, and they kind of take their role or like their role. So we have Garush or whatever, the orc. He's like he's a warrior, so he gets the warrior. He's the warrior class in the game, and we
Yeah.
have Uther. I don't know his last name, but he's a paladin in the game, and he's a paladin in this game. And then we have Jaina Proudmoore. She's a mage in the game. She's the mage class.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a lot of World of Warcraft classes that they obviously haven't ported over. There's Death Knight. That's the only one I can think of because I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't like actually. But there's also a lot of races they haven't included. Like there's no troll character. There's like no gnome character. There's no dwarf character. I think there's no Tauren or whatever. It's just mostly orcs, humans, night elves. No, there's orcs, humans, blood elves, night elves. I don't know what else, but it's like there's like a lot of stuff they haven't added yet. So like you might see like maybe there's undead too, but you might see like I don't know like a troll death knight or something. I don't know, but like there's definitely the possibility for more.
Yeah.
The only problem is like the hero power has to become unique, and maybe they'll add a new like I don't want to say gimmick to an expansion, but they'll add a new dynamic to an expansion that will make that new hero's ability unique and useful.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be few and far between though. I think it might go new expansion of cards because I think that's probably easier to balance than maybe like every year they release a new hero, right? So like I don't know because I feel like that'd be really hard to balance, but who knows? Maybe they won't release any new ones at all, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean.
All right. I think this has been a really long podcast. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I
Okay.
I don't think I have any other questions that I want to ask about the game. Leo, do you have any lingering questions? I want to.
So Dan, can you get me a beta key?
Yeah, let me just call my boys at Blizzard and get you one. No, I just got really lucky. I don't know how I got one, so yeah.
All right, so I guess that wraps it up.
Shout outs.
Yeah, Dan, you start.
Shout out to my boy Falor in the chat, helping me with my streaming, giving me tips, tricks, and everything about because I'm retarded at Hearthstone. Check out our YouTube channel, which you might see this on, and you might be watching this on Twitch. It's Arctos Gaming. I'm gonna try to make an indie game video here shortly, but watch out for like StarCraft videos, our streams, our podcasts, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. That's my shout outs.
Well, before I wrap everything up, I'd just like to say thanks to Leo.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you guys.
So we're going to jump over to Leo and let him do whatever he wants to do, and then you'll jump to me, and I'll finish it up. So, Leo, go ahead.
I just want to shout out to SteelSeries for my broken mouse.
Oh, I was going to do something just like that. No. I was going to do my shout outs to
mouse
Tic Tacs.
So, yeah, hopefully they can get on that and either send me new one or
Wait, what are you using right now?
This shitty like
Oh.
Logitech like optical mouse I bought for like $10. So
Okay.
I'm slumming it big time right now.
All right. Well,
other than that, shouts for my dad for helping clean up my apartment. I appreciate it a lot.
Hey!
Thank you.
Leo's dead. Okay.
But yeah, Leo, thanks again for being on the podcast. We always like having you on. Always good discussions.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks,
like
Grizz. I know Grizzly's gonna be doing an arena run sometime this weekend. Do you have any idea what day that's gonna be?
I'm gonna shoot for tomorrow night, maybe. Probably around 8:39. But don't expect much if you're gonna watch it, because I'm probably just gonna get spanked 0-3, and it's gonna be sad and depressing. But oh well. But yeah, yeah, expect an
hey.
arena run.
Okay. Or you could do it tonight from like the hours of 2 to 6 a.m. on campus.
Oh, I could bring my laptop. That would
But
be
you
cool.
don't, you don't have to.
I don't think I'm going.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the only other thing I want to kind of plug is we're gonna be having an upcoming kind of new series that I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be a little bit more polished. It's gonna be like talking about different discussions in games, and I think the first one is gonna touch on the topic that we talked about on the podcast last week, which was like jaded video gamers. So look out for that video, probably coming up this week, hopefully.
Ooh,
But
I'm
other
excited.
than that, yeah, thanks for watching. If you were tuned in, so yeah, see you guys next week.
Bye.